Hey everyone, welcome back. We are at the very start of the classical era on turn 46 as the Greeks. In the previous episode, I got off to a bit of a slow start, but particularly with my scouts. I think I only went up with 3 from the Neolithic. But I chose the Nubians, which has served me well so far, because my closest neighbor turned out to be the Mycenaeans. I rushed down their capital of Mycene, and turns out the Phoenicians were right nearby too, and I went after Byblos. Nubian Archer served me really, really well using this one choke point here to funnel their forces. So far, I'm off to a pretty good start, in my opinion, and surprisingly, I somehow have the Fame lead. This is a very awkward spawn. I can't say I've gotten too many spawns like this, where you just have this long isthmus, and everyone spawned in really close proximity to each other. Because I founded my capital here, Mycene was here, Byblos was right here, so everyone was really close, which made it easier to go a little aggressive at the start. Now, I think my preferred culture would have been the Achaemenids, but that was already taken, so we'll have to make do. But speaking of more city cap, it's time to enact small council for the extra city cap, now that I'm at 3. And I need to take care of these guys who are pillaging my city, or my outpost here. Still looking to get some more outposts up. Go for manual battle, of course. Oh, I'm defending. I thought I was attacking. That was a big whoopsie on my part. Yeah, I need to get these guys down from here. Okay, move up there. Hit the archers. I can't quite kill them. My archers might be in trouble next round. Oh, okay, maybe not. They should have gone down there with the spearmen to attack the archers, but that would have been too easy, apparently. And I'm defending, so I do not need to attack. And take out those spears. Alright. A little bit of progress towards military stars. Scout Rider, come down that way. And Kerma. So, let's get to work on amphitheaters. Are these different territories? Yeah, so I can put an amphitheater there and an amphitheater there, and they'll both benefit from adjacency to each other, so that works out nicely. Once I finish fishing, I'm going to go straight into Standing Army for hoplites. Ooh. 15 science and 6 influence sounds really good to me. Is that worth losing a river tile? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. I'd rather lose some science than industry and food. So I'm going to put it in a slightly less efficient location, I think. Though over there, I can't surround it with tiles at any point. Let me hold off on that. I'm not sure what I want to do there yet. I do need a forge in this city. And over here, I do have a river. And I will need a little more food. Just grab this basic infrastructure while stability's still recovering. It's really unfortunate I wasn't able to take that city earlier, because it means I don't have the Nubian pyramids, which actually would have been amazing in that city. But, you know, gotta work within constraints. That's part of the game. Okay. Legion's doing fine. Their units look like. Yeah, I want to hold off on any aggression until I get hoplites. Just defending Byblos. And okay. Sure. I don't even know where those guys are. Do you have any other grievances? No. New wonder can be claimed. Ah, now this is interesting. I usually don't get to claim classical era wonders. It's very rare I do. In fact, it's very rare I'm one of the first ones to the classical, because I tend to extend my ancient. I am very biased towards Mausoleum at the moment. Statue of Zeus does provide a ton of stability and faith. Lighthouse of Alexandria is still bugged, so it does provide combat strength on melee units still, and Colossus is still useless. I'm going to go for the Mausoleum. I have found science. I found science in the beta to be quite slow to get because of the district cost scaling. By the time you're actually building science quarters, it's really expensive to build them. No, refuse. I don't want to trade with you. So the result is that your science progression can really slow down around like the medieval era. So I want to try to counteract that as much as possible, and it's one of the big reasons I wound up taking the Greeks as well. Should really try to claim this territory at some point. Let's see. Let's get a better idea of what's all going on over here. Are there any luxuries or anything? No, just this one crappy city that I don't want. I'm just going to wait for that city to decay, honestly. It's in a terrible position, and it's not worth sending an entire army of people over there to go deal with it. I prefer high ground, but yields are better here, and honestly, this outpost is not going to come under threat from any players, so I'm not worried about putting something on the low ground there. I don't want to eat up that river tile, so I'm going to go for that area instead, because I'll likely attach this territory to Byblos at some point, and this territory to Mycene. That's the plan for now. Obviously, plans change a lot. Right, I'm not a merchant anymore. I was going to try to buy out the silk. Not yet, though. I will go ahead. Right. Iron. Let's grab you real quick. I'm going to focus on industry in the city because I don't think I have the... Yeah, I don't have House of Scribes there yet, but I do in Kerma, which is providing the bulk of my science for the moment. Go ahead and buy the amphitheater too. There's no reason not to there. Stoneworks could be useful. 17 industry could also be useful. I think I'm going to do that. But first, hoplites. Lots and lots of hoplites. Okay. Hydrology, specifically for watermill. Pretty much all my cities have access to rivers and a fairly sizable number of rivers, so that upgrade is very important for supporting my outputs. And I'm going to go ahead and take these guys out if for no other reason than I want militarist Aerostars. I was expecting them to go after the archers there, but alright, that's fine. Guess they couldn't reach them because of the rivers. Go ahead and end my turn. Finish up the Moreau pyramids. You can queue the iron here as well, but I don't really need it yet. I'm going to prioritize more food in here. It is a little bit easier to grow now, at least for like a certain number of population. So food doesn't feel quite as wasted as it did before. I don't think I need more industry in here quite yet. Keep going for amphitheaters. And you can see that the pace of this has really slowed down quite a bit. This would be nice for markets. That being said, Does this actually exploit science? It doesn't. So you can see I have 2 science tiles there, but I was thinking, oh, that should exploit those, but it doesn't seem like it does. So don't really want to lose industry placing stuff over here, though. I guess we'll go right here. This would be good for market quarters later, but it's really not that big of a deal if I have an amphitheater in there. All right. Buy some stuff. Go ahead and get these harbors out, because honestly, I always forget about harbors pretty much every single game. So I will do it while I think of it. These guys are just going to hang out here for a bit, just in case there are any more bad guys that come and show up. Okay, let's change to production in the city. Want to get those hoplites out fast, and then I can go deal with these guys some more. All right. So there's hydrology. And you're definitely going to want a water mill in here. Where's a good spot? That would be okay. There's a pretty decent balance of food and industry in that spot. I'd actually prefer a little extra food in the city here, but it's going to take quite a few turns to develop there, so I'm going to go for the higher industry spot. There's also a dye there, which is quite useful. Pick up philosophy. That'll give us extra city cap, as well as help bolster our science output. I'm going to prioritize these infrastructure now. I'll buy out the hoplite since it'll take 2 turns. So the infrastructure has become quite a bit more important to build earlier because it doesn't affect your cost scaling. And over here, river here is really not quite as extensive as I hoped it would be. Like, how much food would that actually provide? It's just 6 food. So something else to know is that there is a bug right now, so that like this doesn't actually provide accurate information on your exploitations. So you can see I'm actually only getting 10 food from placing that there, if you count up the things properly. And over here, I'm actually only getting 5 food, which is like the most out of whack I've seen. So those numbers are not accurate in a lot of situations, so do be aware of that when you're playing the game. I'm not sure what to build here, to be honest. 17 industry would be really nice. Yeah, we can keep focusing on industry in here. I don't see any reason not to. Help me build wonders and that kind of stuff later in the game. Excuse me. It's my stability in my keen. Totally fine. 100% okay. And Kerma is working on the water mill. Okay, my hoplites are up now. I could crank out some hoplites and Byblos with its industry here. I think it's worth doing after we pick up the amphitheater. One thing to know is that because of the cost scaling and because it's easier to get pops now, it seems like the AI generally get more armies than they used to, which means it isn't quite as feasible to run around with like 2 armies anymore. You have to have more than that to really have a presence on the battlefield. I should really go for rhetoric for the library, I think, and then we can go for craftsmanship. I'm not worried about city defense It's unlikely they're going to be able to do much to me at the moment in terms of taking cities. They're pretty far behind because of how much damage I was able to do to them in the early game. Carthaginians, not worried at all. Mycenaeans, still in the ancients. Go ahead and buy out that die. Get a harbor down. I'm rethinking this. Keeps getting more and more appealing, even though I am losing out on river production and food. But those are some really nice science and influence yields that would really benefit me. So I'll take the hit there. How much influence? 1060. So sometime in the not too distant future, hopefully before I conquer a city, because that'll increase my influence cost, I'll turn either Lich or Alubra into a city and finally get that going. The earlier you can get your cities going, the better, because the more emblematic quarters you'll be able to cram into those cities, which are way more efficient than just regular quarters. Did I have more war support? Don't have any crises against the Mycenaeans. I do have some against the Carthaginians, though, so I think that's who I go after next, because then I can assimilate more stuff in the peace deal. Let's get my hoplites moving. Artificial reservoirs is still a good option here, I think. I'm going to buy that out. No point in sitting on extra money. Pick up a school. And I think it's time to move people back over onto science. Can think about starting to get research quarters, maybe. I'll have to think about it. I don't think Kerma's a great spot for research quarters, though. Because what you're looking for research quarters is a lot of strategics. They give a lot of good adjacency. So like right in here would actually be great. Let's move some of this stuff along. I'll keep going with the watermill so I can produce things more efficiently. And I think I turn Mycenae into a science center. It has an okay industry base already, so I'm not too concerned about it. Right, I haven't upgraded them yet. So I'm going to continue to let my war support climb a bit, but once all my hoplites are ready to go, it is straight back into combat, but not before I upgrade one of those two in a city. I have to remember that. I forget that kind of stuff all the time. Not paying attention to those things is one of my greatest weaknesses as a player, I think. So I did get Violent Pursuits. It gives me experience on creating units. I think I might go for Smite Unbelievers because it synergizes with some other benefits I already have. Though this extra war support on winning battle is also very nice. Let's go for Hunt the Infidels. I don't manage to get this one very often anymore. I would have way preferred Reject Luxury, but not an option here. So, what are they attacking with? That's not a big deal. Go ahead and march down there. What's this? Okay. Manual battle, because otherwise, if you don't manual battle, it basically assumes that you are trying to attack with your units like every turn. And if you're defending, there's really no reason to do that. So manual battle it to avoid losing your units. Because you can just sit there. Okay. Got a few more turns on my hoplites. Okay, and I have enough to turn one of these into a city. I think I'd prefer, see, it's at 4 out of 4 already. Yeah, this has higher industry and more population. So slam that into a city. And as you can see, despite my reasonably high industry in the city, it will take a little bit of time to actually build quarters because I have a harbor here, I have artisans' quarters, and I have a horse here, which is affecting the industry cost scaling. So let's go straight for makers to help make sure the industry cost doesn't get too out of control. Get a pottery workshop. Forge. Do I have 2 copper? No, I just have 1. So I'm only getting like +6 out of that forge, which is not amazing. I do need food in here though. So what I'm going to do is build this amphitheater. So first animal barns to get my food up, then get the amphitheater, then I'll attach this territory, because once I attach, it's going to increase the cost of building stuff again because of more quarters in here. So I want to build the amphitheater first before I attach anything. Come here, you. Just tolerance. I will grab this +5 faith on territories, and it lets me get grievances. Whatever, just instant resolve that. Don't need that scout anymore, so no big deal. Alright. And then next turn I can formally declare war on the Carthaginians, I think. Okay. Enlighten, learning. Yeah, I'd rather have the extra science and the extra faith. Faith is really not that important of an output. I do need to build another obelisk though, because otherwise it's just I am going to lose this faith battle if I don't. And I'd prefer my faith over the AI's faith, because the AI kind of suck at at picking tenets most of the time. Okay. Well, that's fine. Should be able to finish them off. I don't need to retake this flag, I don't think. If I do, something's gone terribly wrong. How's that for OP ranged units? 29 combat strength, toss heavy archers. At least based on the position they were in. Okay. I'm going to retreat these guys because they do need to heal up. Whoops. And I could go up an era, but there's really no need to yet, so I'll leave it be. Let's see. Yeah. Start on the obelisk, maybe? I think I should probably do it in my keen. So regardless of the dominant faith, the faith output depends on, you know, what your state religion is and who built the holy site. So I haven't done this one yet, is that it would actually, to my knowledge, it would actually improve Blue's religion and not my own. Because I kind of stole it from them while they were in the middle of building it. I'm going to build it in this territory over here. I think right there is fine, out of the way. I'm going to focus on it. Just get it out the gate as soon as possible. Alright, and hoplites are ready to go on the next turn. Actually, are they? Yeah, that starting position's fine. Alright. Go ahead and grab all the grievances I can. And declare war. Oh, I thought I had a way down over there, but apparently not. Sometimes it can be a little hard to tell with the terrain what is actually accessible and what's inaccessible. I kind of wish there were like a map mode or something that would affect that. Definitely want canvas for that plus 20 science and moving me along the liberty axis. Keep moving in that direction. You'll always have like random events that pop up that are going to move you in directions you don't want to go. So trying to keep on the extreme ends of the civics that you actually want is usually advisable. Okay. Don't want to queue up too many things in my cities. Otherwise you lose track of what's important, I think. I should consider, yeah, an agriculture quarter, I think. Let's see, that's 2, 7, and 5. So that's actually 14 food I get there for the cost of 4 industry. I'll have to think about that one. Okay, they do have a Kothon up there, which means I'll be stealing that. Army wages, really not an important civic. Unless you are relying on garrisons to provide stability, then it can be quite good, actually. But for me, not worth getting. Alright, can finally move you onto something useful. Let's just purchase that amphitheater. I don't want to wait for it. And really don't want to place that on a river. We'll put it right here. This territory will eventually fade out, and I'll claim it for myself and attach it. So I'll be able to make more use of the adjacency later. Now, I do have plenty of rivers in here. Let's go ahead and grab the watermill, and then the amphitheater, and then the flood irrigation. We'll keep the build queue busy for a while right there. Okay, sight on. Oh, they're attacking me. Interesting. That is truly a bizarro world attack, I think. I need to maintain this high ground. Like, they do have rivers, but it's more important for me to be on high terrain than to not be on a river. The benefit from high terrain outpaces the benefit from rivers, so I'll probably win this without bringing in reinforcements. But I am going to play it safe. Leave these guys out. There's no reason to bring them in. And these archers will easily be killed on this turn here. There we go. Okay, and now we can actually attack the city. Go straight in for an assault. And we will put all the hoplites on the front line. Archers behind them. Swordsmen are not as important here. Unfortunately, all of my frontline units are on rivers, which is going to reduce their effectiveness a little bit, but what are you going to do? Still have more than enough combat strength to deal with levies, though. I'm just going to let these two sit. I don't need to take this turn. It's not vital. If I can, though, then even better. Okay, just trying to get these guys in the city, so I don't have to deal with fortification. Should be able to kill this guy this turn. Okay, and there we go. That's another city. Do they have even more cities? Now they do. Oh, we'll just stroll into Carthage, honestly. Sidon. Sidon's not overly developed, which is good because I can actually build the things that I want in it. That being said, they do have a haven here. They have a Kothon here, Kothon here. Okay, it's a little more developed than it looks, actually. I'll probably need to turn on Collective Minds soon. Yeah. Looking to attach this territory. I think buy that out, then attach right there. Let me get another amphitheater as well. Right in there is A-okay. Running low on food. I would like to support a decent amount of population. Oh, 15 food. That can't be right. It's 10 food. And that is 8 food. I think I'm okay with losing that 4 production on that tile there, because I do want to keep up a reasonable population. Scientists are a very important part of my science output in particular. Let's do that order. So the charcoal kiln will help my maker's quarters here get a little more industry. Makes it better to build things. I'm going to refuse that civic. I have no interest in that. Okay. You guys should be able to deal with a city by yourself. And then these guys can deal with my other problem here. Okay, keep all your hoplites close together so you get adjacency bonuses. I'm going to avoid attacking into the city uphill. No real reason to do that. And then you can get a rear attack on both of these. Clear out the city pretty easily. There we go, easy peasy. Unbelievers not gives you some options like in your city to banish people or whatever, but they're not options I ever use. So I don't really pick that civic anymore. I just hold on to it in case I need to adjust my ideology in one direction or another later in the game. Just gonna start ransacking Carthage. Total crap city. Absolutely zero reason to hold on to it. Oh, this is kind of a complaint of mine that you can just like walk into occupied cities even when I have an army directly adjacent to it. So I'll need to take it back again. Massive pain. Okay. Hoplite front line again. I have the archers back here. This guy will need adjacency more than this guy, I think, because he's more exposed to the enemy's line. This shouldn't be a difficult battle. It's just annoying. I have to retake the city again. It's also going to diminish the amount of population in the city because I'm killing more levies. Please let me kill him. Thank you. Okay, attack there. Move up with these swords and end the round. So just levies left. This should be a non-issue. They are going to get rear attacks there, but levies have so little combat strength relative to hoplites, it just does not matter at all. And there we go. City's ours again. Looks like they might have another one up here. It's kind of hard to tell. Maybe not. Okay, there's the war resolution. Yeah, just give me all your stuff. So that should knock them out of the game. I'm actually okay with replacing that now. I have no reason to be founding a bunch of outposts anymore. Like, there are a couple here and there, but I'll be attaching more outposts than I'm founding, so changing that civic for free is totally fine. Don't want to plant anything on that river, so we'll put the amphitheater there. Why is the stability so low? Because of Defiant. So let's get those stability producing districts up. Those are my only options for now, though. Just going to buy some things out to make the city a little bit more efficient. But I need to focus on some of this infrastructure first until I can get stability up here. Yeah, I'm almost to Imperial Power for Commons Quarters, which I have a strong preference for over garrisons. Garrisons are fine. You can do a decent amount with garrisons, but the Commons Quarters do provide quite a bit more stability on top of some other yields as well, so I do have a preference for them. So while the city's getting pillaged, I may as well use its very little production to get working on a project. This is going to be a more science-focused city. So what I'm going to do is put the mausoleum here, so I have my science kind of concentrated. And that means when I build things that affect the science like the science percentages, like plus 10% science or whatever, it'll be affecting the mausoleum in this city. Okay. You're going to need a charcoal kiln for sure. Go ahead and attach this as well. I do think it's worth getting artificial reservoirs in here at this point. And then we need to get all that science infrastructure. So that city will be busy for a fair bit, but we'll come back and reevaluate it later. Not worried about that civic at the moment. No. So if you've already refused one, all refusing another one does is just extend the amount of time on the current defiant status. It doesn't actually make the status worse. So bear that in mind if you ever need to refuse multiple civics. I should stop getting those conversions in a couple turns. Let's see. Definitely go for a charcoal kiln here with how many maker's quarters I have. I'm going to need a little bit more stability at some point. I can't believe they claimed that. That's so weird. I also need more food, though. I think I'd prefer this territory attached to Byblos. So let's detach that, and that'll help with stability issues. And then I'm going to need stability in Byblos. But once I have that, I can attach the city here, and that's going to help make full use of this river in this city, which will help with some of my food issues as well. Doing pretty good on air stars. I should consider turning on collective minds in like Kerma. Not that I need to too much. Let's see. 18 production there, but lose 6 food. No. 15 there. I think that one's probably worth. It's not quite actually 15 production, but I want to add that to the queue. It is important to keep your industry up because otherwise things just get unbuildable. I could also work on Mausoleum. 15 turns though, a little too much for my taste. Okay, let's go deal with this outpost over here. First to discover Imperial power. And speaking of food issues, let's pick up feudalism. So feudalism gives +1 food on tile producing food. It'll also give me peasants, so I can basically just skip fortifications. I have no reason to ever research that tech once I get feudalism. Yeah, maybe into theology after that for the extra science per researcher and the city cap. I think that seems like a reasonable option. So let's see what's up here. Okay. Don't need to attach that. There's no reason to. I think that's fine. You do need a base amount of industry, basically, in every single city, and I really can't hammer that home enough. Alright, let's pillage this outpost. There's really nothing they can do to stop me, I don't think. Yeah. I think that's the only unit they have left at this point. Did they go up yet? They're the Huns. Okay. Well, good thing I'm the Greeks. I do feel like the AI can go pretty crazy with the Huns sometimes, though. That said, the Huns have been nerfed overall, so it's not as big of a deal. Okay, the Ghanaians have been taken. So that is the first person up to the medieval. I'll probably be going up soon. I do like to 3-star my primary star pretty much every era, though, whenever that's possible. May not happen this run. I'll probably have to turn on Collective Minds if I want to do that. Buy that amphitheater out. Buy the stoneworks. Really going to make use of my Nubian heritage as much as possible. Also get a library in here with 12 population. That's a fairly reasonable amount of science. Okay. So, really want to start stacking up demands against the Mycenaeans, and want to keep refusing all their demands because then it allows my war support to tick up. Okay, let's attach here. It tanks my stability, so let's get an aqueduct. And that is actually a pretty good spot for a common quarter there. Okay, let's deal with these Promachoi. Like, even in the classical era, Promakoi are not too bad. They're basically a swordsman on the first round of combat. And particularly since they get free veterancy, they're typically a little more potent in the hands of the AI than they are the player. Okay, let's drop everyone on industry again. And let's get basic infrastructure up and running. I value this plus 10 science on 5 cities more than the plus 1 combat strength at the moment. My hoplites are far and away more efficient than any other units I've encountered up to this point. Whereas plus 10 science on 5 cities is like an entire city's worth of science almost, like an underdeveloped city's worth. So like right here is 58 science. So it's almost like I have another city by picking that option. That iron mine is still not that important at the moment. Let's take that out of the equation. Let's go on expert policy. I'm gonna keep, let's keep science full, and then everyone else can go on industry. Athens is coming along all right. And it looks like they retreated already. Okay, just one shot those scout riders. That should be the end of purple. Yeah. Oops. We'll position ourselves to go after Knossos in a minute here. I don't actually know how to pronounce that name, which is a little odd for me because I was really into like Greek history and mythology and all that kind of stuff as a kid. I found it fascinating because it's like, I don't know, there was a certain mythos to it. Like it was old enough that, you know, you could have fun with like the stories and they seemed kind of real even when you knew they were fantastical. But at the same time, you know, those stories were part of history. You can say the same for a lot of Egyptian mythology as well. Okay. Just keep using my money here. Do I have an idea of, like, do I want to focus on anything in particular in Sidon or Sidon? Because I don't have any idea yet of what I want to do with this city. 20 stab would be really nice. I don't want to eat up a river, though. So let's go for a reduced amount of stability there. Okay. That should stop. If you have an outpost where an encampment is, it should stop that encampment from growing into an independent people. So I'm just going to go ahead and plop that down. All right. I think I am going to turn collective minds on in Kerma, just to start getting some more of these techs. Could I do it in Mykeene as well? I think I probably should. Let's get that research quarter out. And my scientists are definitely more efficient here. Pop on collective minds. How many more techs do I need? I need 5. Let's get up to alchemy. And then maybe come back for some of these less expensive techs, just so I can era up faster. Okay, I'd really like to take out this army of Promakoi that's running around as well. Someone got taken. The Aztecs? Okay, don't care about them. Aztecs suck pretty much every single game. Okay, and we're going to move this guy like right here so that if they retreat over that way, they get zone of controlled. Okay, they're going to retreat that way. Okay, we'll keep my hoplites on the border over here. We'll use these 2 armies to go chase. War support filling up. ST Aerostar, and I need 3 more techs, only 2 more pop. Classical era is shaping up to be a very, very good era for me, which is great. Classical era, I find, is often one of the most important eras, even more so than ancient. Okay. I will need Seafaring Mastery. Though I think Furnace Steel is a little bit better. So let's go Chivalry into Furnace Steel after I get these 2 techs. So that should be like 4 more turns, which is not too bad. Okay, let's deal with these guys. They do have the retreat status. I want to be able to deploy my hoplites at the start of the battle, so we'll get them into the actual deployment zone. Oops, that should be a hoplite there. There we go. They'll usually come slam into you like that, so not going to attack them when they're happy to come suicide like that. Okay, that deals with that army. And right now, yeah, we're at the max militarist and expansionist star, so anything we get is going to carry over to the next era. I don't think I'm looking to found any more cities given the land I have, so I'm going to go straight in, I think, and declare war on the Mycenaeans here. The earlier you do it, kind of the better, because what ends up happening is the AI develop their cities kind of crappily. So when you take cities off the AI, you're punished a little bit more than you were before. Oh, they have more units here than I thought. That's fine. Because the number of districts they have is really going to affect your ability to build even more districts. So it's better to take it early and develop the city yourself rather than let the AI develop it for you, because they are very inefficient when it comes to developing stuff. Okay, take advantage of high ground there. I think I want my units to mop these guys up on the side. Okay, that's fine. I am not afraid of them taking my flag in any way, shape, or form. Bonk. Bonk. This is the power of hoplites. They're so much better than most other units. And these guys are still using ancient era units, but like Promakoi are pretty hardy units, particularly for the ancient era. But hoplites pretty much just beat everything, except immortals in very certain situations. Like, I value the hoplite more than the immortal, but I value the Achaemenid's legacy trait more than the legacy traits and emblematic district for the Greeks. Okay, get you off food. Expert policy. Food should be the very last thing you work on. Buy that maker's quarter, and might as well get a forge in here. Artificial reservoirs will be great. Like, look at this river. I'm working a ton of river. Science worth it in here? I will need multiple science cities, is the reality. I think once this fades away, it's in decline right now. So once it's gone, I can start building science districts down in this direction to make sure they're getting adjacencies. So I think I'm going to start working on that, because I have this strategic right here that will benefit my science a little bit. Okay. I have no reason to care about that encampment. Okay, they're not going to attack, which is fine. Get all these adjacency bonuses. Give this guy a little extra adjacency bonus. There we go. So something you can do is use your backline units to ensure all your frontline units are getting adjacency bonuses on every attack. So like you could see right here, when I had these guys lined up, sort of 2 by 2, you attack with the guy that has all the adjacency first, and then you can move your backline to support another frontline unit. And it didn't really matter there. I was definitely going to win that fight. But in really close fights, it can make a big difference. Alright, I basically won that war already, so I'm going to go ahead and farm these guys for militarist stars. Don't even need adjacency to kill him there. And we're going to have this swordsman come over here and camp out and wait for reinforcements. But you're going to go around the long way, apparently. Okay. Taking more damage than I anticipated. Sometimes they get a little lucky on their damage rolls. It's just how it goes. Yeah. You're dead. You're dead. You come down here. And no matter what I win after this round, they can't take their flag back, so. Alright. Really much ado about nothing in this combat. It's very likely that I'll have like all my militarist stars the moment I go up to the next era. I do think they might want to reconsider transference, like this sort of overkill on stars in one era to the next. It can make people that are snowballing just snowball even harder. And sometimes like it's just not a choice whether or not you're going up. Like you just stay in the current era, you're winning because you don't have to worry about like losing progress towards other stars. This explains why they were doing so well on their religion with Temple of Artemis here. I was wondering how they did that. Alright. Actually, they haven't done anything too crazy with this, which is really nice. So I do have to worry about stability. Let's worry about... I don't have to worry about stability. It just needs to recover a bit. Expert policy, of course. Let's just start working on basic infrastructure that we need in every city. Sure. They don't have any cities, so why not? And Byblos. Yeah. Right there is fine. Kind of out of the way. Don't want to put it on a river. Rivers are valuable, and never forget it. We'll actually grab the watermill here first. Oops. It's a very good era for me. Kind of surprised, to be honest. I guess really a lot of it had to do with my ability to roll over some of the AI at the start of the game here. Okay. But, you know, when you focus on that kind of stuff at the right time, you get rewarded for it. So, just have to learn to recognize when the right time is. Alright, almost at 7k fame at the end of the Ancient. One thing I could consider doing is ascending as the Greeks. And that would like help my fame income, and it would retain collective minds. In reality, you know, I like to have fun. with the game. So, and actually, the English look kind of appealing right now. So I haven't gotten to play the English at all for the channel yet because it's a culture that people, or that the AI love to choose. Now, the Khmer have been changed quite a bit, so they're not nearly as bad as they were. The Bahre it's still a makers and farmers quarter, but instead of +1 industry per population, you're getting +4 industry per adjacent river. So it's tuned down a fair bit. However, that said, the Bahre is still very powerful because you can fit it in on river tiles and retain both of your yields, while still giving adjacency bonuses to both farmers and makers quarters. So it's still a very good district, in my opinion. The Byzantines, I don't think I'm as interested in. I still have a core money output, and I am going to need to earn more money in the next era if I want those era stars. But I think I'll actually end up falling behind as the Byzantines due to inflated era star requirements on your primary star. I won't be able to build another amphitheater in here because I'm going up the next turn. So, Sidon, let's get you the rest of some of this infrastructure. I will need theaters in cities as well. And take you off collective mines. Just for that little bit of extra oomph on influence. So I am thinking English here. Let me finish off this turn though. Like all the stuff I need to do. 21-9, not too bad. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. So English. Let's try them out. And the longbowmen make for a natural transition from the Nubian archers as well. I don't think the Teutons make much sense here. Mongols definitely don't. Obviously, Umayyads are very good, but I think it's time for some English. So let's do it. So there we go. Straight into the medieval. Let's take a look at the stars. Okay, so I just won militarist star. Already 3-starred expansionists, though. Anyway, really appreciate you guys tuning in for this episode, and we'll be back in the next one playing the English in the medieval era. See you then.